Good evening. DW here. It was a church night, as you can see. I'm still in my church clothes, and it's 10:32 p.m. Sporting a new green tie. I got this. There's a brother from Missouri who comes down with his wife. He's got a ministry. He's anointed to play piano, bass, lots of instruments. He's got a ministry with his wife, Brother David, and we love and appreciate him. And he was selling a bunch of ties to support his ministry. I guess he finds them Goodwills or other places really cheap, and hey, $5, you can't go wrong with that. So I bought a few ties for myself because I don't really have a lot of ties. Never really started wearing ties until this year, 2023. Can you believe that? When I started going to the church I'm at now, my dress very gradually changed. There were times I'd go in a t-shirt and jeans, and then eventually I started. The pastor's wife recommended a store that was having a sale, and it was basically $5 for every bag you can stuff full. So stuff the bag full, pay $5, and that's what you get. And I got a gray, blue, like a navy blue, and this jacket back 4 years ago in 2019. This was one of the very first suit jackets I ever bought and I ever wore. And it took me until this year to start wearing ties. And now I enjoy it. Didn't used to wear the white shirt. They're expensive. They're usually $20 from Walmart. You can't really get them better than that. And so I guess you could say this is my church uniform. And I enjoy wearing it. I like dressing up. It's nice to look different when you go to the house of God. And the message that the retired pastor preached on tonight, it touched upon your dress for the Lord. And I know you're going to get all those people say, well, God looks at the heart. Yeah, he does. But change starts inside and then eventually works to the outside. And if it doesn't work to the outside, it's because there's something blocking it. Now, I'm not going to get off into clothing. I know some people want to say that it's legalism and all that stuff. But hey, I just think we should look our best for God, for God's house. You know, it's just a reverence thing. And so I'm happy to wear these clothes, and I like wearing them. If I come home from church and I'm wearing them, I'll try to do a video just to look different. I don't want every video that I do to look exactly the same, and I know it doesn't. And so that's my story of my green tie. I'm sorry I took the long way around to say it, but I just thought you'd like to know. Sister Joyce, I saw your comments on a video I did early this morning. Actually, I posted it early this morning. I did it last night. But I saw your comments. More videos. I'm doing the best I can, sister. I just hope you guys are all appreciating them. This is June the 16th, so we're more than halfway done the month of June in the Tozer Devotional. This is called From Inquire to Desire. Psalm 1:6 says, For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Absolutely the truth. We're going to read the whole first Psalm. It's only 6 verses. When was the last time you read Psalm chapter 1? Shouts out to all our teammates, to Brother Jimmy Carr, Sister Faye, God bless you. Brother Jeff, Mickey, Don down in Texas. Brother Stephen, who will soon be heading north from Texas. I talked about him in the last video. Do be praying for him, and do be praying for Sister Julie. She's got a kidney infection right now, and I don't say that to embarrass anybody, but she's in a lot of pain. In fact, I could hear her crying a little bit earlier. I'm not trying to embarrass her, but that's how bad the pain is. So if you see this video, would you please pray for Sister Julie? All right. So anyway, let's get into this. It says Book 1, Psalm 1, and it says to dash 41. I'm not sure what that's all about, but this is Psalm 1. Let's take a look. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. Have you ever meditated on God's word day and night? I don't know many people that do, but it's a good practice. He will be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in its season. Its leaf will not wither, and whatever he does will prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the ungodly will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly will perish. End of story. That's just the way it's going to be. If you die in your sin, you will perish for eternity. And the reality is that God doesn't send anybody to hell. People choose hell. People hear the truth of the gospel and they decide, oh, yeah, I want that. A God that came to the world, humbled himself, came to the world and preached and died for me, for my sins, so I could be forgiven. Yes, I receive that. Or you can just say it's a bunch of fairy tales, it's nonsense, I want nothing to do with it. And guess what? God is a gentleman. God won't force you. You choose him or you don't. But you're going to have an eternity to think about it. And unfortunately, by that time, it's going to be too late for you. I'm not going to mention what it was, but we had... I'm trying not to make it sound too mysterious. I'm just making a little landmark in a video here. But we had something happen here last night. And let's just say that God intervened and took care of it. And everybody here at the house knows what it was. I just thank God for his protection. That's all I can say. All right. From Inquire to Desire. Tozer says, "It is not enough to inquire about the power of the crucified life and the Spirit-filled life. It is not enough to want it. It must be desired and claimed above everything else. There must be an abandonment to Jesus Christ to realize it. The individual must want the fullness of Christ with such desire that he will turn his back on whatever else matters in his life and walk straight to the arms of Jesus." I agree with that 100%. So much for the case of the rich young ruler. His veil, the veil over his eyes, the spiritual blindness, his veil was taken away, and he turned from Jesus Christ. He was still the hypocrite, still a covetous man, a money lover, a breaker of the law. Above all, he was still a sinner and Christless, something that I never want to be in my life. I never want to be godless, and I certainly never want to be Christless. He had to pay a great price to keep what he loved most. We have no idea in terms of money and land and possessions what the rich young ruler paid in his refusal to follow Jesus. Imagine loving your money so much that you gave up your eternal salvation just for something temporary. And it doesn't matter if you were to live 1,000 years in wealth. I know we can't live 1,000 years now, but if you were to live 1,000 years and be the wealthiest man in the world, hold up 1,000 years next to eternity, it's going to be a vapor, and it's gone. Stop and think about that. The secret of a Christ-like life lies partly in the deep longing for it. We grow like the ideals that we admire. We reach unconsciously at last the things we aspire to. Ask God to give you a high conception of the character of Christ and an intense desire to be like him, and you will never rest until you reach your ideal. So, ask yourself, what is that devotional tonight? What does that make me think of? What does that make me want to do? Well, a continuous theme throughout these videos is just surrender. I know it's easy to say that. You say, just surrender everything to Jesus. And that's what we have to do. But the thing is, it can't, we want to make a choice to do it all at once, but sometimes it's piece by piece by piece. Sometimes it's, okay, I surrender my will to you, God. I surrender my finances. I surrender my job. I surrender my family. I surrender my speech. I surrender to you the things that I watch. I surrender to you the things that I listen to. It's not easy to do, but it's necessary. To get to the place where you got to get with God, you have to fully surrender everything in your life. And I can say there's probably some areas in my life that I'm still kind of back and forth on, and I need to get to that place. I admit it. I'm a work in progress, but at least I know that I'm going forward and not backward. Can you say the same? I'm just trying to challenge you. I'm not trying to condemn anybody or judge anyone. I'm just trying to give you some motivation. It is possible to do. It's not hard to live for Jesus. Yes, all hell will come against you, but God will pull you and help you rise above it all. He does it every single time when you rely on him, you trust in him, and obey his word. Be comforted and encouraged by that, I hope. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you in the next Tozer Devotional. Check that 3 Ps.